Hey guys, I can't believe it's already like 7:30 where some of y'all are at. It is crazy with these times. So if we have How's it going? Hey A Banks. It's good to see you. I know I'm a little early today, but I've got to pick up the boys at 6 o'clock. Let's go. Y'all are so funny in the Discord. I'm just now looking at this, laughing. That's so funny. Y'all are so cute. Let's go live on TikTok. Yay, getting more and more on. Sorry I'm early today. I can't believe it's already 7 p.m. in the very, very East Coast. It's only 4 o'clock here in Arizona. Let's see. My boys are supposed to be going to a ball game after school today. So if they come home, they'll be home in like 8 more minutes. But if they go to the ball game, we won't hear from them. And that'll be nice because it'll be quiet. But then I have to leave at 6 to go pick them up. I only live like an hour, 1 mile, from the school, if that. So I'm super close. Super windy today. I feel bad for whoever's playing in their baseball game because it is going to be super windy for them. They're going to be fighting the wind. So I'm on page 23 of the 2022 CPT book. And did I say that wrong? 2022? I'm pushing ahead a year, I think. So page 23, not sure what I said, but I'm just writing in some more examples. Some people are struggling with the E&M section that I typed out, and they really miss having the page-by-page notes that I did last year. So I know I should be doing cardiology right now, but I'm almost finished with updating all of my E&M notes. And since we did that E&M workshop, I had these really cool examples of how you would do 2 of 3, 3 of 3s. I thought I'd just write those examples in here as the final touches of what you do if nothing is matching. I don't know if I can get it all in here. Means on this one, we are going to drop our smallest number, but then that still leaves us with these two to deal with, which is our 2-4 or our 2-5. So if our exam does not meet or exceed the expectations of a 2-5, we can't code a 2-5. So their moderate MDM level will be negated because we didn't meet the expectations of an exam to meet that moderate level. So we will definitely bill a 99224 for that example. Hey Sandy, how's it going? Let me check out your messages, see what y'all are writing in here. Hey Perfectly, hey Golden. Yeah, no worries. We're just going to have hiccups because like Friday, Travis has his virtual doctor's appointment this Friday at 4:30 because they get home from school early on Fridays. So I don't know. I'll have to wait on Fridays till 5 p.m. because his online appointment isn't but like 15, 20 minutes. But Friday, it's going to have to be, well, this Friday. He won't probably have another one for 2 weeks. But we're just going to, my life is built around, my 6:30 time zone thing. So we'll have a few hiccups along the way. But yeah, I agree. Like, if I waited till 6:30, it's 9:30 on the East Coast, and I can't get y'all to, that's too much to ask to have y'all hang out for 2 hours and try to learn something at that time. 7:30 is much better. So anyway, we'll do what we can. I'm just going to have little things that are going to mess this up just a little bit. Let's see if we're doing in the same area. This one also is an example of my questions that I have prepped for today are going to be radiology. What are you singing about? My kitty cat is just singing through the hallways. He rarely does that. Who's singing? Which cat is it? Who's singing? Singing. It's got to be Sammy. All right. So this one, we are going to have the history is PF. I know I'm really close on the screen, guys. Let me raise this up some. There we go. Yeah, I'm on page 23. You didn't miss nothing. I'm just writing in some examples and talking about, hey, Sandy. Hey, Perfectly. Hey, user 9648 that just followed me. Hey, Gladys. Didn't miss much. Hey, Cassidy. I'm just talking about the E&M section that I typed out this year. People are having a hard time. They really like the page by page, notes instead of my typed version. So I am redoing it in page by page form so that you can see what I meant when I tried to type it. But also, when we did the E&M workshops, I wrote out all these notes about how to code if it's 2 to 3, and then what if your history exam or MDM are all different codes? How do you figure out which codes to do? So I thought I'd add in, I didn't have this in last year's notes, 2021, but for 2022 notes, since I'm so close to finishing this, I would add these in too. For anybody that wants to have them page by page. Uh-oh, my kids are home. They didn't go to the ball game? I wonder why. Well, I wouldn't have had to start my live early if I'd have known that. I hear somebody's coming through the door. Could be my mom, but 2, 2, 5, and then 9, 9, 2, 5, 6. So what do you do when your history and your exam and your MDM are all different codes? That sounds like my mom. Let me go check on her real quick. Hey, Mom, you got some mail today. All those boxes of uniforms. Oh, they didn't say they don't eat you. I ordered rolls too. Yeah. It's super windy out there today. That was my mom, not the boys. Yay. So she's running to town for something. Probably going to go do the drive-through window. So when it's 2 of 3, you can get rid of your lowest number, which is nice. It's the 3 of 3s that are the booger. And this one, since you get rid of your lowest, there you go. The answer for that one would be that. We get rid of that and then have that. Hey, Cassidy. Yeah, page 23. You want to get into coding? It's so much fun. And you don't need any prerequisites or anything. You can just schedule and take the exam and be nationally certified, which I love the fact of. I am recording this live, absolutely, Jill, and we'll post it on TikTok. I think I have Monday nights to post too that I haven't downloaded yet. It's just been crazy, catching up from vacation and everything. But I did load up 2 new things on YouTube, I believe, Monday. I just got to download Monday's live. You started an online class and you're lost already? I bet. Norma, your bread and butter for that class is your practice questions. Any chapter exam questions, any review questions, anything that is A, B, C, or D multiple choice question, that is what you need to focus on for your whole course. It will help you out. The videos and all the reading and all that stuff, you're only going to retain 10% of it, if that. So don't worry about all that material. What you should worry about, or be sure and save, is every single practice exam question you get in that whole thing. You can copy, paste them into a Word document or something and save every single one of the questions. Once you get the right answer back, be sure and note that with them. Save every one of your practice questions. Even if you don't understand how to do them, you can always message me. I have a link tree here in the link in the bio. You can always email me questions and say, I don't understand, and why the answer is what it is, and I can help you out. But focus on the questions. The questions are great practice for your certification, and all that material that's in the chapters and definitions, don't stress too much about them, but that will definitely help. All right, I wanted to write, all right, we're in the 992-245s. Over here on the other page, we've got our 99. Where is our 21? Our 21 is not on this page, and our 22. Where's 21 and 22? They're always missing. 21 and 22 are over here. So on page 24, I got an example to write for the 21 and 24. Or no, 21 and 22. 21 and 22. So I'm on page 24, and this is a 3 of 3 example. That means that this CPT code set means that you have to meet the criteria for all three areas: your history, your exam, and your medical decision making all have to match to be able to code either one of these. And matching means you have to either hit that level or exceed that level to be able to code that level. So it's okay if you do more than that level calls for, but you can't do less for sure. So a 3 of 3 example with these codes would be, what if your history equals detailed? That equals a 99221. What if your exam equals a comprehensive, which could equal either the 2-1 or the 2-2 because it's in both? That equals a 99221 or a 99222. And then if your MDM, medical decision making, equals moderate, the only one with moderate, because 2-1 is straightforward, the MDM on 2020, the 222 is moderate, so this equals a 99222. What do you code this one? You can't get rid of one. They all have to match, and because your history does not meet or exceed the level to do a 222, you have to stay at your 99221. Check up a message. What is Gladdy ready about? Right about? Let's see. Is it Gladys? That's good. And I am confused about lab and path along with radiology. Are you going to be doing full notes on those, Jen? Yep, I do have 2021 version done, but like most of you, on the 2021 notes, I used what was available over the internet, telling us what notes we were supposed to have for our CPT books. And I did that for 2021. I finished the entire book in April of 2021 and posted those notes up. But, I started tutoring people in April of 2021 also. And I learned a lot from you guys and watching people and getting more practice questions in and hearing back from them what was on their exam, and then realizing more and more what was actually needed in addition to what was already out there on the internet, telling us what was needed. So the 2022 notes that I'm making, of course, have more information than just what is out there over the internet. And they're way better notes because I'm constantly auditing myself. What can I do better? What can I do to make this easier for everybody so everybody can pass? And my E&M tutoring one-on-one got everybody, from November and December, everybody was making 100% on their E&M scores, even in January when the exam changed. And we have the exam changed, and then that put more E&M emphasis on the exam. So January and February, everybody was making 100s on that in compliance. So I know I'm getting there to where each section, I can definitely get y'all making a lot better scores with the notes for sure. And so just as I learn, my notes change and all that good stuff. So I think it's super cool, the difference from one year to the next, what changes I made in the notes and how much they've improved. And I'm trying to add all that stuff that we talked about in our notes. I went through each self-limiting and what does like the detailed comprehensive and stuff mean, like for what chronic illnesses would be in each one. So like 04 ended up being like, I put the examples down that would be in that particular code, what examples of what kind of visits would be there. Like if it was stable, just like a small mass that needed no treatment, or if they just needed to be told to go do some over-the-counter meds, I added that kind of stuff to the notes that weren't there last year, which is cool. I mean, I put down that this was a nurse visit. Yeah, but it's nice to know that 992112 means that there was just an over-the-counter med given to the patient usually, and it's just a self-limiting, not a big deal problem. So they're always evolving, and that's super cool. So I'm just adding in those final touches that I did in those E&M workshops to get those finished, but I'm so close to getting it done, and then I can get that posted. I've got tutoring the rest of the week, including the workshop on Sunday, and I have tutoring Thursday morning, Friday morning, Saturday morning, and then Sunday we've got that 3-hour cardiology live. So super, super busy. It's crazy. But yes, I'm taking care of radiology today. I'm going to do a bunch of practice questions on radiology. You're going to have a really good knowledge of it by the time you're done. I don't even have my radiology notes finished for this year, so that's okay. Be a plain book we'll work in for radiology. That's all right. We'll make notes as we go. But yeah, all my other sections are really, really well done. Radiology is another big section that we'll work on soon. But the first thing that I like to do when I start notes in a section that I haven't done at all. So if I'm on page 527 and 526, if you're in the 2022 book, and it's okay, you can have the 2021, it doesn't matter. You can use that up until December 31st of 2022. Once you hit January 1st, 2023, you're going to need a 2022 book for sure. So, but you can absolutely use it this year. First thing I do is look for just those little parentheses. I like, even if it isn't a word, I do it if there's an S, because that way I know I don't need to times or find an add-on code. If it includes multiple of whatever we're dealing with, so you don't have to do that. I do it to keep me straight as I'm adding notes into the book, so that I know that this means it could be double or as many as whatever's going on. But the most helpful is when there is words in a parentheses with a CPT code, because those words are used in the CPC exam questions a lot of times. I'm finding that more than just highlighting what's after the parentheses. That's not usually what's in the questions from what I've been seeing them evolve to, and what people who are taking the exam are telling me that's in there. And from what I remember when I took my exam too, I was like, I did all this highlighting and boxing and da-da-da-da-da. None of that was in the book. And then I didn't know to fix my out-of-code sequencing. And Betty, bless her heart, she sent me something this week for Lab and Path that's going to make my life a whole lot easier. I truly owe her a debt of gratitude. And all the tutoring one-on-one she wants, but I think she's super scared to do tutoring with me. It's like, what? Am I intimidating? Yeah, probably. One-on-one. And then having somebody do practice exam questions in front of somebody that knows what's going on. I guess that is pretty intimidating, but I wish she'd take me up on it. But I think she's pretty close to getting ready for her exam. And I know she's going to pass with flying colors. So this one right here on page 528 in radiology, this one's got brainstem in one of those parentheses. That's one of the first things I would do when I'm updating this section is highlight that, because brainstem might be in your CPC exam question for sure. Here's another one down here on 557 code. We've got a proton being mentioned. We also have another brainstem or skull base being mentioned. We also have things being mentioned about assess a tumor, like a residual tumor or some sort of vascular malformation. So if there's any highfalutin words that might not be common knowledge to people, like a residual tumor, I will go define those into layman's terms, or what a residual vascular malformation is. I'll define those in my notes for people so that it makes sense for sure. Plus, a lot of times AAPC does use layman's terms for things in their questions. They might not say the same exact thing that's in the CPC exam question. I'll also go through and look at all my questions that I have gathered over the years and see if there's any AKA terms in the questions. Sometimes, especially in your parentheticals right here, those already start out in parentheses. When they have an AKA term in them, they use brackets. So I look for these brackets right there in these parentheticals. So anytime I see EG and it's in a bracket, that's just AKA terms. So if they're doing a complete acute abdominal series, it could also mean that they're doing a decubitus or some other kind of supine area there that might be helpful to know. Once I go through my questions and do some eval, I'll either put 2 blue stars here if it's important. If it's not important, then I'll put a green star beside it, meaning it's just for your information. I do have a pattern of colors that I like to use. Reds mean do not. Orange means it's an open procedure. Green means it's a closed procedure like a scope. Blue stars means it's a modifier alert or radiology alert, meaning it's included. Radiology is included in this procedure. That's for other areas. We probably won't use very many blue stars here, but green stars just mean FYI. Don't worry about it so much. But that's what I do when I first come through this book. Not a lot of thinking, just kind of like word search, but looking for symbols. Stuff I could do with the kids hanging around and asking me 10 million questions. I could still be doing this. Then the next thing I do is get out my reds. And then I go through and do all the do nots even if it's just in a Word document or like in the notes, sometimes there's little notes here that are your guidelines right before you code a section. If there's a do not in the middle of it, I'll note it. And then if there's a modifier in it, alert, I'll be sure and do that. And of course, I'm going through it and already see yellow stuff I missed, which drives me nuts because I got to do it all in my order the way I like to do it. But I go back through and do that kind of stuff too. So, looking for some do nots. Do not, do not, do not. We've got some do nots right there. Those get 2 stars and underline because you know during the CPC exam, they are absolutely going to give you multiple examples of this code is the answer. And then they'll give that answer coded with this answer, this code, together as a possible answer. And if you don't pay attention to your do nots, you might miss it. So I like to just highlight everything that says do not in red. So we make sure we take a moment. And this is before I even read my question. Once I get down to the CPT codes that are possible answers, I check out my do nots before I read the question and eliminate answers that are in the do nots. That helps me a lot of times just answer the question without even looking at the question, which is super handy dandy because the codes tell you what you can and can't code together, and then that's all they're asking in the question. They just want to make sure you understand where a parenthetical is. And even if you don't know how to code, but you know how to figure out what the answer is based off the book's instructions. The questions are already coded for you, so you're not coding. You just need to learn how to pick out the right answer based on what's available in your book. And do we have a do not up here? I thought I saw something somewhere. There it is. This is what I was talking about. Right in here in the middle of this parenthetical, sometimes they'll switch it up and then put a do not in the parenthetical that doesn't start out as a do not. This one starts out as for your information. If you're going to use an MRI, which is radiology, with a biopsy and stereo biopsy, by the way. So this starts out as a radiology note and then converts to a do not parenthetical. So that's the way I mark those. Let me check messages and see what y'all been saying. Yeah, lab and path is just insane. And a lot of lab and path is out of sequence. So fix your numerical things that are out of sequence. Put the page numbers down by all the red codes that you find for lab and path. I bet radiology has some too. I got to fix all those. That's the first thing, like these right here. Go find where the code is and put the page number down beside it, because there's nothing worse than getting down to just the answers. That's what you're looking at in the CPC exam. You get to these codes and they're not here. And then they give you some range where they're at. And those ranges can be different, even though those codes are beside each other. One page can be 4 pages. One code could be 4 pages away. The other code could be 7, 8 to 100 pages away, even though they're right beside each other. It's a nightmare. Just go put the page number down. That way it'll save you time. You're not going to have time to go look through whatever range of codes they gave you. They gave you 200 codes almost to go look through right there in that range. It's awful. So go fix those. Mark all your do nots. I'm driving myself nuts here. I got so much to do. But yes, put all those in order first thing, especially in lab and path is my advice. The next thing in lab and path is not usually like in a lot of the other areas, you're looking for the right test code based off the test code, right? In lab and path, it's not the test code or the test, but it's the means and the way they got the result that matters whether you're in the right area or not. A lot of those tests are in the same area or different parts of the book, but they say the same thing, like it's the same test, but you arrive at the answer by doing it with a nuclear exam, or you do it with a microscopic exam, or you do it with an enzyme exam. So you got to know how the results are being produced to be able to pick the right answer in lab and path. It's a nightmare. If you can get 50% on your lab and path section on your practice exams, I think you're doing a wonderful job, and I think you should spend your time practicing questions in cardiology, digestion, male, female genitalia, the eyes and ears. The nervous system, you can build up those areas to make up for lab and path being so difficult to learn easier with the time you have before you take the exam than you can trying to learn all the different ways that lab and path could be asked of you, if that makes sense. I absolutely do teach lab and path, and I do the practice exam questions, and that's all fine and dandy. It's just a very, very tough section. Very tough section for sure. So don't stress too much about it. Let's work on the other sections first. Good tip. I've taken the course before, but now I'm trying to get recertified. Hey, MD Thorne. That's awesome. So you know what to expect with that darn exam. Yeah, those CEUs are a booger to get, Yeah, you got to really stay on top of it every single month. At least do the magazine articles. At least do your chapters, check-ins. And when they have those webinars, I just check in, log on, and leave the cell phone down. When you check in at your webinar, you'll go to chat and put in your AAPC membership ID number and just type it in there. And then as long as you stay and you've done that and leave your cell phone running, even if you turn the volume off or something, you'll get your CEUs for those, which are an extra free 1 or 1.5 usually. But just capturing all that continuing education is a booger afterwards. It's not as bad as doing that exam again, but yeah, you got to stay on top of those CEUs. They're a pain. But the videos that are quarterly on their website that are free too, all you have to do is fast forward all the way to the end, capture that number at the end, and then type that in to where you put in your CEUs. That's the easiest one to do too. So I like those, but they only do those for a year. Sometimes they're only worth even just a half a CEU, but whatever, I just do it. Swipe right, yes, to get rid of all the chat. You're welcome, Banks. Yeah, it's okay to use the 2021 book to study. You could even use a 2019 book to study in. Now, practicing and that kind of stuff is fine. But for the exam, you're going to need to have a 2021 or a 2022 book to actually take the exam in. And I really prefer you have the book prepped for the exam if you're going to take a book. Some of the countries, like out of the country exam people, like that take their exam like in Dubai or the Philippines, They're not allowed to bring their own books. The testing facilities provide them with their own CPT books, which is crazy and not done to policy the way that AAPC wants it done. AAPC encourages notes, encourages examples being written in the book, and wants you to note and highlight as much as you can in your book before the exam, because that helps with their pass rates, of course. So the way some of the out-of-country testing facilities are doing it is inappropriate. I'm still trying to work with them to help them get their facilities updated, policies put in place, but that's really rough. Yeah, where's Twinkle at? Where's my clock at? Hey Tiffany, how's it going? No, you haven't missed much. I've just been chatting. You know how I do the first 30 minutes. I am early, Annie, because I heard with the time change, New York and Florida, it's like already 9:30 at night if I go on at 6:30 at night like normal. So that's insane. Tonight the boys are at a ball game, so I have to go pick them up at 6 p.m. my time. And so I was supposed to start at 4:30, but because I got to go get them at 6, I started at 4. So we're going to have a few bumps and bruises along the way, but I'm backed it up to 4:30 my time zone so that it starts 7:30 East Coast time, because I can't expect anybody to start learning coding at 9:30 at night. That's just brains turned off time, right? I know a lot of y'all watch me book prep after that time, and that's mindless stuff. That's fine. But doing practice exam questions, I need to be on at 7 o'clock at night. That's a good time for, I'm probably messing up some of the central time zone people, but I don't know. I don't know how to get everybody the perfect time to come on, but I'm trying. Just trying here. So let's see. I know my brain couldn't learn something at 9:30 at night. I can do the mindless stuff, but not that stuff. What do we got going on? How often do you retest for certification? Hopefully never. Hopefully never have to take this exam again. You just have to keep up with continuing education credits per year, and you have to keep up with your membership dues. Right now, our membership dues are $190 a year. Hopefully you can get your job to reimburse you for that kind of information. And then your job will make sure that you get your CEUs accounted for too, by providing you with those educational credits or reimbursing you for any webinars you got to pay for. But AAPC does have free continuing education CEUs they provide throughout the year. And I take full advantage of those for sure, so that I don't ever have to take this exam again. All that info is on the AAPC. Lori J., who is admin in Facebook, says no examples in the book. She's wrong. She's absolutely freaking wrong, whoever she is. I am a guest educator for AAPC, and I can tell you flat out she's wrong. And Miss Lori can come talk to me anytime she wants, because the beginning of the books that I do buy from AAPC, these coding books that are written and added to and amended, well, they add in graphs and other things that help you along the way. Sorry, I'm trying to find you a photo. Encourage, even their own study guide encourages writing examples in the book. Now, are they saying write practice exam questions, examples? No. But are they saying add in coding examples? Yes. If you're a coder and you're using the CPT book, absolutely, you're going to be using these books constantly for updating. hold on, I'm looking for a picture. How do I look for, like, I want to look for all. I don't think it's download. Is it Messenger? Where's my photo? I got this lovely photo. Finally got a screenshot from AAPC's website where it lists all the things that you can do and can't do all in one shot. Lori, is there misunderstanding your question, or you didn't ask it in a specific way about, you can't add their questions, their practice questions to your book. That's not right. But you can add a coding example to your book. Oh my gosh. I really ought to sort these, because I've got 9,258 photos on my phone. And yes, that's photos. Either ones I've screenshot taken. I should organize them, but who has time for all that, I need an assistant, somebody to organize all my photos in my phone. I tried that and putting them all in folders called coding and all that stuff. And then, yeah, that got crazy too, because then I still can't find them. Okay, where have I've done some messages lately where I've had to attach that thing because people keep asking me the same questions over and over again about that subject. So I know I've attached it to people. So go to my emails and go to my sent files. So oh my God. Is it the other Facebook? Where did I find this picture? There it is. It's AAPC's website, right? So can I add writing surface area to the book? No, you can't add writing surface area. That means no taping, gluing, or stapling anything in the book so that you can add to more writing space in the book. Now, tips for adding notes to your book are recommended. So there's Betty. There's Betty. Codes with guidelines that give you trouble. Write the guideline next to the code. What does Jen tell you to do all the time? I tell you to write the guideline next to the code all the time. And some people do the reverse. You go write the codes near the guideline too, but I like moving it to the code. You can draw an E&M table if you want to, which I've done to help you determine the E&M whatever guideline thingy that you did. So like what I was doing today, you can draw these tables. Super helpful. Yes. You can mark all of your out-of-sequence codes. Please do so. Yes, you can write definitions to procedures next to the codes. Highlight the differences between the codes, different variants. Write main terms, prefixes, suffixes to your anatomical stuff. You can add code examples next to your guidelines. You can add main terms, prefixes, suffixes, and all that kind of stuff. So when I'm in here and I'm writing in a coding example, which thousands of proctors have looked at my notes and other AAPC teachers have asked me to speak for them and teach their class, you can absolutely write that a proctosigmoid scope with 2 internal hemorrhoids, they used this particular injection, and they used an internal prolapse hemorrhoids were cut out anteriorly or midline using the rubber band ligation. So they just put some rubber bands in there and got rid of those 2. That's a coding example, and we would code that with a 46221. Now, did this come from a practice exam question? Who's to know? But I didn't ask it any format that is in a question format. I just put down that if we were removing 2 hemorrhoids using a rubber band ligation, we would code it this way. If it's a difficult scenario that you're having trouble understanding the concept, you can absolutely write a coding example on the page where that code is coded. So 6221, where is that code? Oh, it's right there. It's right there. That's kind of handy dandy. So it's not writing anything in particular that isn't already in the CPT code descriptor. We're using a rubber band ligations. It does have the S here. We are removing 2, so we don't need to add anything to it, even though we're doing multiple. It's just handy dandy. You can absolutely write this. And then I have multiple definitions and awesome definitions written out on top of the codes to let you know what's going on into the codes. But yeah, there isn't anything here that I'm not doing that isn't totally 100% approved. I would never direct y'all into anything or tell y'all to do anything that could get y'all disqualified. My whole purpose in doing all this for free is to show y'all tips and techniques that I wish I had known and done when I was taking my exam. And I had paid for a lot of information that was so unhelpful that I wanted to share 100% free information here to show y'all how to make your own notes, what you can write in your book that is permissible, absolutely. 100%. I would not do anything that would make y'all disqualified or sent home away from your exam. My goal is to help y'all to walk out of that exam feeling 100% better about your testing. Your testing experience, instead of it being such a stressful nightmare that it could be without any help at all, because a lot of us have been there. I mean, some people go all out crazy with writing their notes, and that's fine. It's fine as long as you're not covering up anything that they wrote. Just don't write over their stuff. You know, they don't want you to white out any of these pages that are in the front, like this advertising. They don't want you to white it out with whiteout and then write over the top of it. You can write in between it in any white available spaces, and you do have quite a bit of it. But do they want you whiting out all these people's names and writing over the top of it? No, they don't want you doing that. But we got plenty of space around it. We can write definitions. Plus, they gave you all those note pages throughout the chapters, plus in the back of the book that are full of areas for notes. You can write all kinds of notes back there. But Lori's wrong, or y'all asked her a question that wasn't related to the specific answer. Yep. What can we do for self-testing? You need to prep your CPT book for your exam. 100% prep your book. And then you need to practice exam questions. I have a Discord group. Y'all are like, yikes. I did good. I just worry about writing over the top of some of the words. Just make sure you write on a clear spot. That's all. But yeah, you could do that too. But yep. So prep your practice, your CPT book is going to be most helpful. And then join our Discord group, which is this app, which looks like that. It's got the little Mickey Mouse breeches. Join our Discord group because I have all these rooms here where you can practice the practice exam questions. You can get your information on what to expect on the exam day. You can get E&M resources, CPT code resources. We've got tons of information in there. Somebody, I guess I probably shouldn't say, I was about to say who, but somebody was helping me with, did it not go in here? That's E&M. Okay, I went to CPT code resources. There we go. Somebody helped me with this one for the MOHS. How do you code MOHS? MOHS and integumentary. So we're always posting all kinds of info in all these little rooms. You can even practice for auditor certificate, or where's my other rooms? Oh, I got to hit the plus sign. Sometimes if all the rooms go away, hit that plus symbol and then they come back. So risk, CCS, COC, all kinds of different rooms that we have. Even terminology and anatomy. We have all kinds of helpful information in all these rooms. This will help you with your book prep for sure. And all this information is all free. Plus, you can get your CEU help afterwards, job help afterwards. And I have a new one. Somebody wants to do anesthesia certification. And so I got to throw in some questions for her soon in that room. But yeah, Discord group is where it's at. For sure, Janet's there for the CCS and CCA people, and then Betty's there for everybody. That's so helpful. And plus, I'm there when I'm not on vacation and not drowning in messages that I got to get back to everybody that I'm still behind on. But I'm working on it. Come on. There we go. Self-testing. We can get you there. Don't worry. Can you repeat what I said right now? No, I have no idea what I said about talking about the test never again. Yeah, you don't have to test again. Once you pass your certification, you're good to go. You just have to keep up with your membership dues if you go through AAPC. I don't know what AHIMA's memberships cost, but AAPC's is $190 this year. And then you have to do continuing education. So you have to make sure that you find ways to find CEUs. I think the first year is like 16 CEUs. It's not too bad. Mine right now, I believe, is 36 for 2 years. After your first year, they don't make you redo your your continuing education for every year. It's every 2 years. So this one, I have 36 to do in 2 years. So you have a date your membership starts, a date your membership will end if you don't get that many done. So you can see I'm already almost 50% done, and it's not even near the first year mark yet. So, and I did all mine free, which they do keep track. So every time you do something on AAPC's website that's free, they'll keep track of all your CEUs you did. So I do the monthly magazines yearly. Don't do any in advance. Like if you've done all of them for the year, don't do anything else till your next year signs up, because they won't count for the next year, by the way. But I do all the monthly magazines. You can see that I did January's, February's, and March. They give you one a month. There's December, November, October. There's a telemedicine I did. There's the quarterly YouTube videos that just have the number at the end that you just type in. So that's what that is. And then there's a round table that I did for my chapter meeting that I just turned the volume off and let it roll. Shh. I did a free meeting 2 with the OB because I thought that was interesting, and I actually paid attention to this one and wanted to see if anything had changed since I did OB and delivery for a long time, about their coding. So if you find something that is free and is of interest, I did that one. And then the rest are just monthly magazines. So that's all. And I'm already halfway through, and it's not even 1 year done yet. So they'll keep track of it on your AAPC website or app that you have, and those are those monthly magazines. They're right there. They're posted as soon as I log on. That's the first thing you'll see. And you'll go there and just take the quiz. There's a 20-question quiz each month, and you can retake that quiz 100 times till you get it right. Nobody's tracking or anything, but you need to get all 20 questions right. And then if you take it 3 times and don't have every single question right, it'll make you wait an hour before you take it again. But other than that, that's it. Oh, Honey Bunny's texting me. What's he saying? What's he saying? Oh, my Jamesy made a cake. Oh my gosh. That's a chocolate cake. It's not burnt, but it didn't rise. He made it from scratch, like, go get the flour, go get the sugar. He did this last night. And he tried to follow a recipe and make it all by himself. And it didn't rise. It sunk into the pan. And then he tried to eat a piece, and then it didn't go so well. So, he ended up having to scrape it all down into the garbage. Bless his heart. So anyway, Dad was making a comment about it. It was funny. Bless his heart. He tried anyway. So first thing is you got to prep your book. I do have a website, medicalcodingbyjen.com. I've got pictures of everything that I'm doing here, like fixing the out-of-code sequences, what I'm highlighting, what I'm starring, why I have blue stars, why I have red stars, with screenshots. It'll tell you step by step how to go through the entire book and mark it up just like I did. Even the anatomy, it'll teach you how to do that. So my website's free. You can join medicalcodingbyjen.com. It's got all that in there. It'll help you out 100%. Let me move this book and put it on my handy dandy Lazy Susan that we made. I'll get my Hershey Kisses chocolate wrapper out of the way and put my CPT book on that thing. That Lazy Susan is cool. By the way, all I did was use Velcro on a Lazy Susan and put 2 bookend things on it and have it rolling now with the books. It's super cool. But I have that on the website too. It'll show you how to do that. But let's get started on some radiology for tonight. And somebody that wants tutoring for tomorrow also wants radiology. So I was trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Get up the right exam. It always does that. Every time I move it, it puts up a different one than I had up for tonight. And then the next person that wants tutoring tomorrow is doing integumentary and muscular skeleton. So I'll prep for that too. Get out my little no looking at the question beforehand thing so that y'all can just see the answers. This is exactly how I want y'all to attack the question when y'all are doing the CPC exam. Let's see. Yep, you have to do continuing education. Who intercepted a message? I sent another person saying that. What year do we need for class? I'm April 20 or 21. What year do we need for class? No, Jay think she meant examples from study guide problems. Sorry guys if I'm misunderstanding questions. Just ask again. I'll eventually get something right. Yeah, under book prep. Plus my website, medicalcodingbyjen.com. I have CPT book prep drop-down page. You just go to that, click on the picture, and the instructions come up on the right, and you'll see a picture of the book and what I'm doing, step by step, one at a time. Where did I get this information from so you can pass it along to others? From the AAPC website. And if you're talking about what can be written in your book, you can swipe right or left in here and take a screenshot of that page too. But I swiped it from AAPC's Facebook group. Somebody shared it. I was like, ooh, that's handy dandy. Grabbed it. But I'm sure since it's on AAPC right there, you can grab it from there too. Handy dandy. Even all their study guides freaking say that too. Where is my study guide? So quiet in the house without the boys around. So I'm in their official CPC guide from AAPC right there. And you can turn to any page in this book, but it says right there, testing technique, please write, highlight, underline, move stuff. Even the front of some of these books, like if you got AAPC's ICD-10 book, it'll tell you in the instructions in the front of the book to write, highlight, move things, all kinds of stuff. They're your books. You spent $400 for them. Write the heck in them. They're yours. Absolutely. They are yours. No, that's AAPC's app. They have their own app for your phone, and you can keep up with your own CEUs that you need. I do have an app with my website. I think it's called Spaces. Like it'll turn my website into an app, but you don't have to do that. You just go to the Play Store and download your AAPC app. Log in just like you do when you log on for your online AAPC website. It's the same password and log on, and then you'll have it on your phone. How do you get the Discord app? Go to your store. Like I have the Play Store because I'm an Android girl, and just type in Discord. Discord. And you can do this on your desktop too, if you want to just put it on your computer, but it'll have those Mickey Mouse britches right there. It's Discord. It says talk, chat, hangout right there. You can see I've already got it installed, but that's what it's called. Yeah, it was last updated in March. And it's got the little Mickey Mouse britches, but it's supposed to be like a gamer controller. But I swear it looks like Mickey Mouse's britches. But it's mostly for gamers. Ooh, it updates. There's an update for it. Ooh, I'll update it. Maybe my app will work better. It works pretty good, though, already. I just am inept. I don't know how to use it very well. All right. Once you join and set up your Discord app, go to my website, medicalcodingbyjen.com, go to resources. There's a Discord button to push, and it's just the Mickey Mouse britches. Just look for that picture, and when you click on that Mickey Mouse britches, it'll take you to my server, which is on Discord. But just make sure you have your Discord app set up where you can log on, you have an account, you verified it and all that stuff. It's all free. And then it'll take you straight to our rooms for sure. You cannot use the 2022 book this year. Nope. You have to use the 2021. No, as members of AAPC, that magazine is free for you. Well, you pay $190 to be a member a year, but that's your magazine you get monthly. I don't know if you don't pay your membership fee if the magazine articles are still available, but you have to try it out and see. For the first tutoring session banks, if you've ever taken, it depends on what your goal is. Okay, if you've taken the CPC exam before and you failed, send me your breakdown of your scores. Then I can prep your tutoring to what you're lowest in, and we need to build up your skills in the lowest areas. If your tutoring is that you want to learn what to expect in each section before you take the exam, then you should schedule at least 3 tutoring sessions, and they need to be to where they're not too far away from your scheduled exam, but close enough. So if you want me to teach you exactly what's to be expected in each section before your exam, then I need 3 sessions, and I need them to be completed before 2 weeks is up before your exam. So start them at the 5-week mark before your exam. Do them once a week for 3 weeks. That way we have 2 weeks afterwards, just in case you're still not prepared or want to go over another session, then we have another week to handle that. But if you only want just prep for what you failed, then just schedule 1 2 weeks before your exam. We'll do one over the top 3 sections that you were lowest in and get you boosted up. So it just depends on what your goal is for tutoring. Everybody's working the question. The name of the website is the same thing as my name here on TikTok, medicalcodingbyjen.com. You'll graduate 12 of 2022. That's cool. CRC and CPMA are the 2 certificates that I recommend you get after CPC. If you're going to get just one, do CRC, because everybody's wanting a risk adjuster right now. Yep, the app is just for us hanging out and where I can store all of my information free to be able to keep it organized and presentable to you guys. So there's nothing major about the app, Discord. It's just a really cool place that will house all of us and keep us to where I can have as many rooms as we need to fit everybody's needs in our group, instead of having something that I can't customize or I have to pay to customize. So this is great. Discord is lovely. Gamers use it all the time to handle their population of people that watch them on Discord or some of those other things for gamers. But yes, process of elimination. The other thing you need to learn after you prep your CPT book is to learn the process of elimination. And the first thing you should do is ignore everything else but your answers. Don't read your question. Go straight to the answers and look at only the first set of numbers that are presented to you. Don't look at modifiers. Just look at the answers, just like I've got done here. Train yourself to look like this. And what we're looking for are similarities or coding irregularities. But similarities, we've got all 7s, we've got all 6s, we've got all 8s, then we have all 1s except for this one. So I know I can eliminate A because it's not like the others. Then when we get here to the last digit, I notice that we have a 5 and a 6. Those are the closest. So I would eliminate B off of that because AAPC has a pattern of giving you 2 answers that are throwaways, and then they really narrow it down in the other 2 answers because there's a specific reason why they picked these 2 answers. It's because they want to know if you know the guideline or a parenthetical or some other relatable nuance to those 2 answers that's going to make a difference. If you were a coder, if you didn't know the difference between this situation, then you wouldn't be a very good coder if you couldn't figure it out, even if you didn't know anything about medicine, if that makes sense. But you knew your rules for coding. So the difference is probably this times 2. Can you times 2 the 16 or not? So let's go look at our differences real quick. Before I even look at my question, I'm going to go to the first one in numerical sequence, which is the 15. I'm going to go to 76815. You can. Hey, Mean, I need to speak to you because we got to get a tutoring scheduled, right? You won the free giveaway for free tutoring last week. And we need to chat on when you want to do it and when are you testing, all that kind of good stuff. So message me on Discord if you can figure that out. And I'm hoping, is your name the same on Discord as it is here? Because sometimes we all get logged on to different things. Yeah, it's the same. Okay, so message me there. Let me know when you're going to test or when you're thinking about testing so we can get you put down. Because my schedule's always crazy. So the differences between our 15 and our 16 is what one word? If you had to grab one word, what would be your differences? One of them, the 15, your one word difference is, what do you guys think? You can use a multiplier. What do you do if you have twins, triplets? Hint, hint. Yep, limited and follow up. So please, if you don't already have it, if you're at the codes 76815, this one is limited. You're going to do heartbeat and position. So I have limited heartbeat position under 15. And the number 16 is follow-up. This is a follow-up ultrasound. We found something last time we were concerned about. We want to reevaluate and see what's going on now. So we are going to see what's going on. So we've got a turtle who ordered an ultrasound on a squirrel at 25 weeks. The squirrel is having twins. All they're doing is assessing the heart rate and position. So knowing that, what would you code? Yep, because we have one or more fetuses. There are some ultrasounds coming up that if they are doing twins, you might end up doing something, but it's not the times two. There are certain situations where you just bill the same code twice. And we'll come to that when we get a particular situation like that, but not right now. We did some immunizations my last live on Monday night, and I found another example. I don't think I did this one. So this one looks pretty scary with all those codes. Don't forget to have Jen on your shoulder and put on your blinders, and don't look at anything past the first code, even the modifiers. Make it simple on yourself. So if you were to see this question, this makes it a lot easier, right? Because all we need to know is if the patient is a new patient or established, first off the bat, right? I think, is that? Yep, and then this one is the new, right? Yep, there we go. So I would check out my question real quick, because all I'm going to do is be looking for whether the patient was new or established, right? Maybe. So we've got a 2-month-old squirrel returns. That's all we're getting is returns. Mama squirrel, blah, blah, blah. So that returns makes me think that we have an established patient here, right? And established is the higher number, which is so odd for me, but I always hate that. It seems like the new patients, it should be the 91. I don't know why. I think that every time, but our 91 is established. That helps me if you can at least get rid of 2 answers right away doing that. It can really make a bigger difference in looking to see what the differences are. So now we've got our 2 91s that are the same, right? We've got our 60s that are the same. Got our 61s. We do have a difference between the times 4 and the times 1. So how many shots? Because these are the codes for the syringes, right? If you can attack these questions based off the syringes, or you can base it off the CPT codes for the actual vaccines, which I find the syringes are easier to count. This means 1 vaccine, and this means 2. So if you add those together, you get 3. If you add this together, this means 5, right? They're given 5 shots. So I'm going to look at my order and see what the doc ordered. Again, you got to know a little bit about it, but look at your commas. How many commas do I have? 1, because that's 1 vaccine. 2, and then there's no comma here, but this is our 3rd vaccine because this is 1, this is 2, that's 1 whole vaccine. It's a combo. It's called Pediarex, and then this is 3. So if you don't know anything about what's inside which vaccine or whatever, this does sort of look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vaccines. But if you know about the vaccines and what's included in each of them, you know that there's just 3 vaccines here because these are combos. But how I could do it, if I didn't know anything about vaccines, I would count the commas. There's 2 commas plus 1 more word. That means 3. So you know your answer at that point, right? This is your Pediarex right here, the 90723. It does all 3 of these. It does tetanus, hepatitis B, and polio. I love this vaccine. Gave it out all the time. This is the pneumococcal, and I think that's the 70, and then your 80 is your rotavirus. Possibly. I may have those 2 mixed up, but you don't give really the rota with the pneumo. It's kind of a bad example, but anyway. On this radiology one, we're going to not worry about those modifiers. We're going to go straight to looking at just the numbers. We've got our 4 6s that match. So I would keep those and get rid of the 4 7 and the 4 5 right off the bat. And then I just need to know if we're adding the modifier 26 or not. That's their question. They want to know if we understand if interpretation and stuff is probably listed inside that code. Some of radiology does have the interpretation and report in it. Some things don't. So they want to know if you understand the difference. 71046 is 2 views of a chest x-ray. So if you've ever thought about or had an x-ray of an arm, a chest, something like that, it comes with a report with an interpretation from your radiologist, right? So this particular question is just a turtle who's complaining of his fever and chills. Turtle performs a chest x-ray. They do 2 views, the lateral and AP view. And he interprets the x-ray. And gives the diagnosis of pneumonia. Yep. Y'all got it right. No worries there. All right. Here's another one with our 26 modifier. We're going to ignore that first off. It just makes it a whole lot easier than trying to take in that whole thing if you do this. Then you can clearly see we get rid of, which 2 letters are we going to get rid of? Keep A and D. Okay. I thought, yep. I can go agree with mean. I'd get rid of B and C too. That makes it a whole lot easier. Then you can, yep. Now we'll see what our differences are. The first code is the same, so it's a modifier. Don't worry about it. Then we've got the 2 B's, A's, and the 93s. The only thing that's different is the 602 and the 502. And both of our throwaways have both those answers in them too. So I'm not getting any indication there. I'm going to have to go look up my differences. What's our 1-word differences between the 5-2 and the 6-2? If you have AAPC's version of the ICD-10 book, I like it because it green highlights the one-word differences between diagnosis codes. I wish they would do that on their CPT version of their book, because that would make a big difference for us too. Yep. They do. Hey, Dirty Red. Hey, Kimberly. It's good to see you. What's our differences between the 602 and the 502? Spin my wheel around. I got something underneath it. Oh, my whiteout. Can't have that underneath there. Scraping that all to heck. Radius and ulna. Very good. That's it. So we're just going to see what's going on with our squirrel. Looks like our female squirrel tripped, right? You're going to be just looking for and skimming from the bottom up, if at all possible, just skimming for where we're at. And if you're looking from the bottom up, you'll come up to wrist, and then you'll come up to radius fracture. And I wouldn't read nothing else up here. I'd grab that radius and pick my answer. Yep. That's all you have to do. Here is a medical terminology one about inflammation of the bone. So you know it's going to end in itis, right? So I immediately run to the end of the words, and I would look for the ones that say itis. This one, the first one, doesn't say itis, right? So I'd get rid of A because it doesn't have itis, just to help you get at least to a 75%, right? And then you got to figure out which one means the bone. Yep. It is our D. And if you got that one wrong, be sure and write that word and put bone and bone marrow inflammation next to it in the musculoskeletal section at the very beginning where they have the bones pictures. That'll help. Another X-ray one. Which one is an example of electronic data? And since we're in the X-ray section, it sort of kind of gives you a hint as to what the answer is. This exam from AAPC is pretty much in order. You're going to start out with a couple of anatomy, and then you'll go. Exam from AAPC is pretty much in order. You're going to start out with a couple of anatomy, and then you'll go into anesthesia, you'll go into integumentary, and then you'll be billing musculoskeletal, and then cardiology. Even on the online one, you'll have sprinkled in between some modifiers and some HIPICs and some anatomy, but they're sprinkled in, and then you'll start a new section. And then that new section will finish all 6 questions or whatever for that section. Anesthesia just has 4. So it's pretty much in order. Use that to your advantage when you're thinking about your question. Think about where you're at in the whole scheme of things of where you're at. And if this question comes up while you're doing, or right before, or right after you're in the X-ray one, it could help you to figure out, if you had no clue what the answer was. Here's another one. Let's do this. For the process of elimination, right? We just do that first number. That helps us see what we don't see. 77065 is where? 77. So if we do this, 77065, we are under diagnostic mammogram. I'm going to look from the bottom up on my question and see what's going on. And they ordered a screening mammogram. Is a diagnostic screening? So sometimes the process of elimination will take you to the wrong answer. Don't be afraid to go back. Pay attention to where you're at. Diagnostic is not screening. You have only one screening mammogram code in this book, and they write these questions. They write these questions to make you think that the patient has like a history. Usually they'll say the squirrel has family history of breast cancer. They'll say all these scary things about the squirrel's aunt and mom both passed away with all this stuff. But we're ignoring all of that. If they say the word screening mammogram, we only have one CPT code for that. And it is always, always 67. Now, they can have even personal history of cancer, but if the doctor ordered screening, if that word is said, it will always, always be our 67. No matter how wordy they get with whatever they're saying, ignore it all. If you see the word screening, it's always going to be 67. Sorry, picking up stuff I dropped all over the floor and turning on the heat because I'm getting cold. Yeah, cold in Arizona. What's our temperature? It's 82 degrees outside. I'm turning on the heater underneath my desk. Isn't that funny? We turn into lizards. I've been living here since 2013, and I swear I'm like a lizard now. I can't live unless it's 90 degrees. Oh my gosh. Why not 66? Because it's diagnostic. Diagnostic means there's an issue and we need to find out what's going on. It's not a screening. A diagnostic means the patient has something major going on. Screening is always bilateral, if they have two breasts, of course. Some people are born with 3 or 1, but screening does screening. No matter how many breasts you have, they're screening for breast cancer. The bilateral above it is a trick, and that is wording put in here as propaganda to make you think it is 66. You aren't supposed to be reading up that high in the question. If you do it with the process of elimination and read your question from the bottom up like I tell you to, you will get to screening. You know what the answer is. You pick 67 and move on to the next question. And you would never read the propaganda. That is just propaganda. So is what's underneath it about the family history. But technically, screening, that's your AKA term. If you ever see that term, it is always 67, no matter what. Or routine. If they say routine mammogram was ordered, a bilateral routine mammogram was ordered, it's still screening. It's 67 always. That 66 is a no-no. You will only do that if they already have cancer, and usually it's needle guided of some sort. They're probably doing a biopsy of some sort. Hey Diana, how's it going? It's okay. Better miss it with me than with anybody else. Hey MK. Hey Hot Mel. Plus it's a child code. Yep. Hey Sherry. How's it going? Screening. Yep, write that in the book, Betty. Screening or routine. AKA routine is what I have in mind too. All right. Here's another anatomy one. You might x-ray this area, and I spelled fractures wrong. Ignore that. I got squirrel spelt right. That's the hardest word to learn how to spell, by the way. Squirrel. Yeah, I eliminated C and D first too, but when I saw the word diagnostic and matched it up with my word in the question, that was screening. I knew I was in the wrong spot. What can I take from this position for coding? For billing? Your place of service codes will help, because there's going to be one question on the CPC exam. We'll ask you a place of service, and billers know their place of services. That'll help. I know that off the top of my head. Y'all are saying pelvis for this? Y'all are right. It's pelvis. I'm teasing. It's pelvis. Good job. No, I'm just trying to get you to say something wrong. You're good. Yep. And if you don't know, go draw this in on the picture in musculoskeletal. Like, I have this drawn in, I think, yep, on my 2021 book right there. I wrote that in, but then drew it into right there on this particular. And then there's the one for the shoulder, is almost spelt the same, but it's a little different. ACE is in the hip, and then the other one, ACROMION, is in the shoulder. And that's what they're trying to confuse you with, where the ACE tab is in the hip. But that's why they had shoulder there, because they wanted to see if they could confuse you. There you go, Mean. Mean's got it going on. She ain't gonna need that tutoring that she won. All right. If a squirrel is having this tenotomy, what are they having removed? Something where? Yep, and they're little piggies. Yep. And I think I have that abductor halus or whatever it is written out in mine too, I think. Oh, sesamoid. So be sure and add to your foot picture, sesamoid bone is in your foot too, because that's been showing up on our CPC exam lately. That too. All right. This one we can't do the process of elimination with, right? Because we've got them all in an order. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So go to the first one in numerical sequence. Let's go to 78801. 78801. What time is it? Okay. 15 minutes and I got to go get those boys. 78801. I'll be back for book prep. I got to finish the E&M. I'm going to post that up tonight. And then I'll start work on cardiology. 78801. Is that right? It's almost 6 o'clock, yeah. 78801 to 02, 03, and 04. So 01 is 2 or more areas. I see that 02 is whole body and 04 is whole body, and then 03 is spec. So I'm suspecting, because AAPC likes to pick codes that are super similar, since 02 and 04 both say whole body, I think it's going to be between those two codes. I would eliminate 01 and 03 because of that. And the difference between 02 and 04 is single day, and 04 is requiring 2 or more days. So it's just a difference in days. So here's your question. And remember, we're not going to be reading it from beginning to end. Please start at the bottom and work your way up. It's usually the best way to do things. And qualitative system right here. Look at it. 3 days right there. Whole body, 3 days. I'm done. I don't look anywhere else. I know it's C, and I move on to my next question, right? Handy dandy, looking at the bottom. Love it, love it, love it. All right. Here's another one. So we do the process of elimination. We get rid of D, right? Because as we get to that third number, we're getting a difference. Fourth number the same, and then we've got our 5 and 6. So I would get rid of A. Yep. And I would go see what my differences is between the 5 and the 6. So 7, 6, 7. 7, 6, 7, 0, 5, and 06. My differences are everything on this page is an ultrasound. So number 1, remember that. 6, I have aorta. 5 is a single organ. That's my one-word differences between all these. Prepping the book ahead of time, writing those one-word differences so you don't have to evaluate the CPT codes is a wonderful test exam taking strategy. Grab those one words, see what we're doing from the bottom up. Ultrasound, liver. Liver is an organ, so I know I'm doing the one with was 05. 05 was the single organ because I'm not doing an aorta, right? And move on to your next question. Yep, yep, yep. I don't know what that is. We'll get rid of that. Longer question. So, yeah, I get rid of A, right? Get rid of A. And then get rid of D. Keep those 3, 5. What's going on with that 3, 5? 7, 7. I kind of like sometimes to go look at them. 7, 7, 4. Sometimes I can do it without it. 7, 7, 4, 3, 5. What's going on with that code? Radiation treatment. All right. So that's not bad. All we have to decide is which diagnosis goes first. There's a guideline with this. If they're here for radiation treatment, what is their first diagnosis code? It is always my one favorite code, which is, and actually, you would never, ever, ever, ever code that Z code with this C code after the fact. This one code means that they're here for treatment of radiation therapy for cancer. It's not a history of Z code. It would be a coding irregularity. I know I cannot code this Z51 second. It's always, always, always your first diagnosis, and then you do your cancer next because that's the reason why they're getting radiology. But you would never, ever, ever code it as the second code for any reason whatsoever. So we would automatically know we could eliminate that and pick B as our answer without looking at our question. Love it when that happens. I would just keep that and roll on. All right. These are all too close. I really like the 18 and 19, but because we're so close, let's go see what 15 is. 7, 6, 8. 7, 6, 8. 7, 6, 8. 1, 5. Ultrasound. Everything is ultrasound. So 1, 5 is limited. 18 is a bio. 19 is no stress. And then 20 is artery, right? So we'll look from the bottom up at our question to see they do mention that non-stress test, but they're saying it will be performed next office visit. So because I got to that, I think it's going to be that one with the non-stress, right? Or 19. It's a BIP. It's a bio, what we called BIPs. Yep, it's a BIP, but it just does not have the stress test. Yep. So we are at C. And that's how I would attack that one. Yep. All right. I was trying to hurry so we could get to this question, I think, or something, somewhere around in here. So they're just asking us how we can bill this 427. Let's go look at our 77427. What's going on with that code? We got any parentheticals that say anything? This is our radiation for 5 treatments. Our 31 is for 1 to 2 treatments. So we're going to check out our question right here and see we've got 2 additional treatments. And what was the original order? The original order was for 5 sessions, and then they did 2 additional treatments. So they want to know if we know our guideline for this. We have 5 treatments originally ordered. They did an additional 2. What is your answer on this one? Peter, you going along with the crowd, or do you know that that is the answer? Because unless you've seen this question before, you wouldn't know that. But yes, 5 is the original, is the answer. I mean A, because we can only bill what the original order was for. They can do as many as they want, but whatever the original order was for, that's what we bill. We don't add additional sessions to this, and they have to pre-order what they're going to do. They only have two options when they order radiation. They're either going to do 1 to 2 sessions or they're going to do 5. If they order 1 to 2 but do 4 sessions, they can still only bill that 1 to 2. If they order 5 but they end up doing 7 sessions, they can only bill for that 5. There's none of this stuff. And there's none of that stuff that goes on in these codes. It's either one code or the other. So even just knowing anything and knowing your guideline says it's either going to be the 31 by itself or the 27 by itself and nothing else ever, then you know all these are coding irregularities anyway. Another anatomy one. You like that dirty red? Sneaky, sneaky. Yep. Yes. It'll be recorded and posted. Yep. And in fact, since it's so early that I have to stop, I can see if the download is ready as soon as I get back from picking up the boys and post it up on YouTube. Because I got to post Mondays too. So what's our answer for this one? You're welcome. I have 7 more minutes. 7 more minutes means 4 more questions. What's our answer? Lourdes. Isn't that Madonna's oldest daughter's name or something along those lines? Anyway, we do have a spine, right? Yep. We got a spine. Here's my question I was waiting for. This one's cool. So, out of these, I like the 15 and the 16 because they're closer than the 01 and the 05. So what's going on with our 768? 768. We were here earlier. 768. 15 and 16. We know 15 is limited. We're just doing heartbeat and position. And then 16 is a follow-up. We look for coding irregularities. I'm not seeing any, by the way, in case y'all are seeing them. Oh, good gracious. There's my kids. Hey, Travi. Y'all ready to be?
We're ready for you to pick us up. Are you outside?
No, I'm not outside yet. I'm still at the house. I'll be there in...
Can you come pick us up?
Yes, I'll be there in 3 minutes.
Okay.
Love you. Bye-bye. My kids, they don't have a cell phone, so they have to borrow somebody's cell phone. So when some random person calls me, I know it's my kids. Right here. So what we've got, if we look from the bottom up, don't forget to do that. When you look from the bottom up, you see both fetuses. And that should tell you right away what we've got going on anyway, because we do have twins. So when they have to do measurements on both kids, you just bill 2 of the same, because, you know, they have to measure each one of the kids' legs, each one of their arms, and then they have to do the head too. I'm sitting here drawing stuff. I'm not sure if y'all can see. Yeah. And then they got to repeat it on the other fetus, right? So they do get to bill both those for this particular scenario to make sure that everybody's growing appropriately. Yep. B is your answer in that scenario. I can't believe it's already been 2 hours. That was a really fast 2 hours. But I will be back in about 30 minutes, guys. We'll do some book prep and get E&M posted, and then we'll start working on a cardiology book. Thanks, Betty, for trying to help out and answering all those questions. I will see y'all in a little while. I hope it's been helpful. Thank you. I already got 1,000 likes and 5 shares of this live. That was wonderful. Thank you so much, guys. Mean, don't forget to message me when we want to do stuff. Yep, I'll be right back. Okay, where am I going? How do I end the live? There we go. 52 viewers, yeah.